ladies and gentlemen, Flashpoint, which is just, I gotta say, it's a lot. It's a lot for me to deal with the just fake Christianity. I just still have a thing about it. You know what I mean? I still have this, like, I don't know what, like, I still feel the need. And maybe it's my upbringing in Kentucky. Maybe it's my childhood, or maybe it's just, the roots of true belief. But I just still can't let, can I fix the buffering on Facebook? It's yucking here. I don't know that I can. I think that's a Facebook thing. They might just be being mean to me because of the naughty words I use. I might get buffered every time I say, fuck diddlyumptious. You know what I mean? Let's see. Did it buffer? Based on which syllable? All right. So, regardless, here we are. This Lou Dobbs. This has awakened a lot of people. A lot is okay. A lot of ALOTTA. That's fine. A lot. No, that's not actually a lot of people. It sounds like a god from like pre-Egyptian times. I am a lot of people. Yes, I'm casting spells. I was working on a CGI Ficus McGee show. Yes, I am. And it's gonna happen sooner or later. Get used to the idea. Also, let me while we're at it. There we go. Go back to here. Set to a different. There we go. Why is it? What kind of a dickhead set something to 50 frames a second? Good Lord. But since we're going to visit the folks at Flashpoint, I feel like they're deserving of a special, it's a special color commentary, as it were. So let's give it a shot, and here we go. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to, why don't my teeth separate with this guy? I don't even know. I'm just gonna have to, I'll just joke. Anyways, my name's Gork. I'm Flashpoint's biggest fan. I watch them religiously, no pun intended. And I just love their work. I love it across the board. I think nobody can turn people away from Jesus Christ like fake people who are for Jesus Christ. I mean, in all fronts. Let's be honest. And I just want you to know that yes, as an emissary of hell, I do control lava flows within certain parameters on the Earth plane. But it is not my fault that Lou Dobbs looks like he's melting.
Hey, Flashpoint Army, are you looking for truth and news all in the spirit of faith?
Nope.
Well, don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay connected.
I didn't really forget it. I just pushed it out of my mind. Sort of a born identity thing.
Email updates at govictory.com.
Shut up. Get it.
Listen, we are excited to have you. Been following your career for a long time.
Yes, they're so excited to have him, they decided to interview him while someone else was talking on stage so that there would be a weird secondary conversation echoing in the background that would be wonderfully distracting for people who are probably in their audience largely wearing hearing aids.
That doesn't mean that you're old. That means you've just been
No, it's that goes without saying.
Doing TV a long time.
I'm a veteran.
Yeah, a veteran. There you go. Good word. Lou, what's your first? I have so many questions. I want to start with.
I'd love to ask a couple questions myself, but honestly, that person talking in the background is totally fucking with my focus. You know what I mean? You ever get lost? Just kind of like, what? I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay focused, but that chit chat is driving me crazy. There's just far too much chit chat.
I chat with you, and somehow death loses its sting.
So many people stop us wherever we are across America and say,
yeah, whenever you're in a porn shop or a glory hole or laying drunk at the bottom of a ski slope covered in mud and fecal material.
We love you, we watch you. We don't watch mainstream media anymore. We don't watch mainstream.
So you're only referring to the people who speak to you, not the vast majority of society, which avoids your gaze for fear they might actually have to address you and therefore might say something socially uncomfortable. Right? I got you.
Extreme news. It's been a shock to most of America that the news hasn't been telling the truth. Has it been that way a long time?
Well, Luz, you You just finished telling Lou that he's a veteran who's been on the news for a long fucking time, and then basically you just call his entire industry a liar's buffet. What the fuck are we supposed to determine, you mean?
It's been that way. It's been that way for, I'd say,
since I left. Just say since I left, and you'll get a chuckle, and then move on.
well, a long time is good, but
Great. This is exciting. I feel like I've grown as a human being. Well, what's left of one.
I can recall when we started cable news network, CNN.
Right.
Oh my God. You know what? Fuck it. Go all the way back to when televisions were hand cranked like a Model A.
We did so because there was a demand for something independent, and
No, there wasn't. There was just a big open gap on fucking cable, and filling it with slow speed car chases and doom spraying was an automatic moneymaker.
fresh.
You don't believe me? Ask Ted fucking Turner. Boy, do I have a spot for him down here.
And knew that people could rely on. It first, it was a disruptive force, and then Ted Turner decided that it was going to be,
What'd I tell you? What did I fucking say?
again, a liberal network.
Right.
And unfortunately, when it did that, it invited Fox News in 1996 to compete.
Right.
Right. When you're going through hell, keep going.
And it wasn't long before Fox News was winning because
The fake news race. Yeah, you asshole, you do realize that he just asked you about, hey, how long has the news been full of shit? And your entire point seems to be that when Fox started to hit its stride, that was the heyday of full of shit. Well done.
because all that was out there was left-wing voices on TV and cable.
Yeah, Dan Rather and all super fucking lefty crazy shit, supporting things like Social Security and infrastructure.
So now you're out on your own, and let's talk and kind of update.
On my own. On my own.
The people watching and what you're doing now.
Yeah, no one knows. Nobody fucking has any idea. Since you were fired from Fox for being a total pig.
We're podcasting principally, doing
Principally. So what do you do with the other 300 hours a week?
some political economy and business reporting for business reports for WABC radio in New York, and having fun.
That's good. Good. Having fun's great. Let's talk about political economy. We're going into this next, this next election.
Political economy. You mean the politics of the economy? Or, you know what? Fuck it. Just run those words together. Nobody gives a shit.
Right around the corner here.
Right.
It seems to me that we haven't been in election season as early this far as we are this time.
Yeah, it's because previously none of the major candidates were actually only running to avoid jail time. I hear.
Seems that we're really crashing into this. A lot of talk. How does this?
Lonza Conk. Say that again, shithead. What was that? Lonza Conk. I met her once in a bar. Whatever. Great kisser. Little touchy feely, but
Seems that we're really crashing into this. A lot of talk. How?
Lonza Conk. Yeah, Lonza Conk. Yeah, Lonza Conk. She was a Viking princess, a real killer. Great decapitator. I just want to say, if you know what I'm saying, and I don't. Lonza Conk. Apparently, he's met her at some of his dream forays into hell.
How does the political economy affected, you think, this time?
He doesn't know what you're talking about because there's no such thing as a political economy. The politics of the economy. This motherfucker is having an oranges moment.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
With what's going on with Biden and Trump.
I think that it's awakened a lot of people because of what we.
It's a weekend?
with what's going on with Biden and Trump?
I think that it's awakened a lot of
It's a weekend. It's giving them weakened knees.
people because of what we went through with COVID, of what we went through with a what I believe to be a rigged election in 2020. And when I say I believe it, it's not an article of faith with me. I know the facts.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that faith is effectively bullshit. At a gathering of the faithful, you literally just took a shit on the concept of faith. Let's run that again, in case anybody missed it.
And when I say I believe it, it's not an article of faith with me. I know the facts and the.
Yeah, see, unlike your dipshit religious gathering here and the entire premise of your whole fucking channel, I'd just like to point out that I base my bullshit on manufactured facts, as opposed to, some sort of dreamy dream sky spaghetti monster. No offense.
Facts are direct, and I think only one reasonable conclusion: it was rigged. And there is an illegitimate president, and that has created a fire. As you travel around the country, I'm sure you find it as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what creates a fire. Me down here waiting for you, Lou.
This is a moment of crisis. It is a crisis, I think, economic.
Yes, anytime you're stuck just podcasting, I understand. Yeah, you'd probably refer to this as a moment of desperation, sadness, and the end, I think, is nigh, broadcasting-wise for you, Lou.
Because we are watching, again,
By the way, I want to thank Flashpoint for really spending the big bucks getting Lou his name on this giant white bar. I mean, sure, you could use a bigger font that fits the space that is made available. Sure, you could put even the name of his podcast after it and try to, do him a solid. But fuck that, I think is what they probably said in the control room at Flashpoint. Good on them.
Real wages for middle-class Americans, hard-working men and women and their families are under threat.
Oh, so not the Trumps. Just to clarify, not the Trumps. Yeah.
So many people are living paycheck to paycheck in a period that should be prosperous, but
fewer and fewer, believe me. I find it just as upsetting as you do, Lou. I wish everybody was desperate. They make bad choices when they're desperate, but more and more people are getting a bit of cushion after the current unpleasantness, and it's really fucking with my timetable.
They face instead high inflation. We're watching mortgage interest rates rise again.
Again? Oh, that's right. You bought your first house in the mid-50s. I don't mean price-wise.
This is a time where we have to decide who we're going to
follow. Come on, say follow. Say follow. Lou, Bubby.
We're going to focus on as a society, our middle class, our families. We've seen the birth rates decline. Right. We have seen jobs.
Well, in all fairness, your face is a prophylactic. You walking the streets of New York City dries up more vaginas than a sandstorm in a gynecologist's office. Sorry.
Jobs that are just tight as they can.
I can't believe I said that either.
Be because a lot of people simply don't want to work. And by the way, as you may know, you don't have to work in this country anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Though, wait. If you don't have to work anymore, what the fuck? Isn't everybody middle class then? What? I see. So it isn't so much that we have a weakening middle class. It's just that you Americans out there are fucking lazy bones. That's it. You lazy fucking lazyites.
So we've got a lot on our plate, but this election may seem closer because there are so
may seem closer. That fucking misuse of those certain words is annoying me.
Many important existential issues, really, facing the American people.
Really.
So what do you think's the most critical? Let's go down those existential issues. What's the most critical issue?
Yeah, what's the tell it border? Say border. Say border, so he knows you're on the you're not on Team Brown people.
The most critical is coming to terms with what we've done to ourselves.
Oh, so masturbation, I guess that's where we're going. Just that's what it's just your loss of sight is disturbing you these days, is it?
And one of the things we have to begin with is, in my opinion, is straightforwardly understanding that we have allowed the Marxist left, the Marxist Dems, to take control of the Democratic Party, take control of.
How did you let them do it? Oh, I see. Yeah, by electing a numbskull like Donald Trump and pushing your party into an idiot corner, you've padded and given more room for the crazies on the left because, by comparison, they seem basically normal. Okay. Yeah, sure. Go with that.
The government. Americans don't want to admit this.
That's right.
No. But we're too lazy. It's not. We don't want to admit it because it's not because it's not true. It's just because we're too lazy to admit things.
They're no longer in control of the federal government. The Marxist Dems are. The deep state is. The FBI, the Department of Justice. I can't think of a single agency of the federal government that isn't right now in the control of a group of people who see you and me as an enemy.
That's right.
Yeah, but not because they're Marxists and they believe you're like super capitalist. First of all, fucko, the guy across from you works for an organization that doesn't pay any taxes at all, and you yourself are ex-Fox. That's almost one of the easiest ways, besides being Tucker Carlson, I suppose, to just kind of get yourself off the who gives a shit radar.
Right. Well, and all those news agencies say so.
Yeah, that's true. And you should have done air quotes on that whole thing.
Quite often, as we're enemies. Lou, let's talk
I've
about.
tested that a couple of times.
Yes, I know.
I don't know why they're laughing. You don't know why they're laughing. They don't know why they're laughing. The laughs are even confused what they're doing. The laughs are coming out of their mouth going, somebody call me? They said the car was here. It's not here. Fuck. All right, I'm going back to bed.
When people.
Yeah, good. Well said. Professional broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen. That's the shit right there.
People, as you talked about Americans across this nation, they've been shocked. You know what happened.
Yeah, they've been shocked. Great. Yeah, it's good. So English as a second language is just part of the Flashpoint hiring thing, or because I've never seen anybody with English as a second language when it started as their first. That's the part that confuses me. How do you take your first language and move it into second position behind, I don't know, like gibberish?
Made a pivotal,
And God
really,
bless the United States.
the diversity lottery
Really an anonymous.
stinks anyway.
Yeah. Trump is his first language now. English second. And a distant second, by the way. We might have to put it down after the race.
Has it really always kind of been there, or are we just now seeing it?
Yeah, no. The devil, I am always here, okay? Stop fucking around. I'm older than you are. I'm older than existence. I'm here. And right now, the interesting thing is, you know that whole thing about they say the biggest lie devil ever told or some shit was convincing people he doesn't exist? No. That's not the biggest one. The biggest one is convincing people that I'm the good people. Yeah, that's the best one. Hiding, who gives a fuck? Kids can do hide and seek. But if you can convince people that their friends and family members are the devil, that's the shit. I mean, that's when I high five myself. Just say it.
There has been a bias in the media that's always been liberal.
Right.
Yeah, it's that what's that word? You said it a little while ago. There was something facts. That's right. Facts. Facts have a liberal bias apparently.
Throughout my lifetime, but there was also a sense of constraint.
Yeah. No. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everybody likes a good zipper hood, a little lash and tickle, as we call it around, the camp I go to every summer. It's sort of a clothing's optional place. Although when you're covered in fur over the parts, it really doesn't matter. That's the one problem with like both scales and furry legs, depending on which form I take. That clothing optional doesn't really matter when you're half horse occasionally. You know what I mean?
Walter Cronkite held his
What? Walter Cronkite. I remember him. Who?
also a sense of constraint. Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite. It's pronounced Cronkite. He was a German broadcaster, often confused with Walter Cronkite. Cronkite. I think he was a camp guard for a little while, and then they just threw a mic in his hand, and it was fucking magic.
Held his tongue, but you could tell what he was thinking.
Right.
That's one.
That is the trick, isn't it? If you can wait, I'll hold my tongue, and you tell me what I'm thinking. If the boner gives me away, what? Not everybody likes their tongue held.
Level of constraint, and
God damn, dude. What?
but you could tell what he was thinking.
Right.
That's one level of constraint, and that was generally
One level of constraint. Okay.
the approach. But with the advent of the internet,
Yeah, the internet. You're welcome.
advent of cable news and fabulously wealthy media companies.
Yeah, because before social media happened, there were no fabulously wealthy people. You do realize your like Earth Messiah has like gold leafs every piece of fucking furniture in his house. He's got like a deep fryer that's gold colored, right? You realize that. You do realize that. You realize that, don't you? Lou, you do realize that, don't you?
They said, we're just going to have our way, and
That's right. That's the opposite of a safe
they
word.
did. I got a kick out of CNN saying it was going to go a different direction when it fired the most recent CEO. It lasted about a week and a half, and the next thing you know, they're
Kind of like your podcast.
hiring all of this liberal talent.
Yeah. What about, all right, though, that's one issue. Let's talk
Yeah, it's great. It's super good. That's one issue that will not come up because it doesn't fucking matter.
about cancel culture. It's something that we say all the time, but
Yeah, but fuck Bud Light. I mean, sorry, cancel culture bad. Cancel culture bad.
we're living that. Americans are living that.
We're not going to Disneyland anymore. Fuck that place. I'm sorry. Cancel culture bad. Cancel culture bad.
It's extending up.
Those books have to be removed from the fucking library. I'm sorry. Cancel culture bad.
At a
Cancel
school board meeting, standing up at their churches and saying something, refusing to get a jab. Cancel culture is alive and well still.
Well, not so much, because a lot of the people that refuse to get the jab are not, suffice to say, alive and or well. So that's a bit of a
In America, how is that ever? You went
You look like a deflated balloon with a toupee on
through
it.
that. What was that like for you to have to deal with all that?
Well,
He got fired. Sucked. He no longer has a job, like a real one. He's got the same job his grandson has that he used to shit on while he had a cable news job. Like, no shit. Lou Dobbs I guarantee, has a kid's kid somewhere, a cousin, a nephew, a great nephew, something like that, who started like Twitch streaming or a podcast, and Lou gave him the big talking to at some point while he was still at Fox, and then the kid's paying the rent.
I guess I was a pioneer. I was an avant-garde.
You what? Avant-garde? Avant-garde. That's you're gonna go with that one, right? You're gonna, first of all, Mr. Freedom Fries, you're gonna fucking go with a French phrase? Avant-garde. Why don't you try right guard, you stinky old bastard? What are you talking about?
Yes, I was very fortunate as a journalist to be blackballed by Republican
Yeah. And imagine how well that worked out for the audience.
and Democratic administrations, Democrat and Republican White Houses and presidents.
Wiped houses? Look, you were proof positive you hung around with Trump. You got Lou, did he make you clean him up after a bad drop?
In the case of George Bush, because I said it's time to name the enemy, and the enemy is
Us?
radical Islamists. Let's name them. This should not be a war on terror. This should be a war very specific on the enemies that have attacked the United States.
Right. And the bigger message was, of course, leave the Timothy McVeighs and the David Koreshes and the Black Hebrew Israelites and the random lone wolf murderers who shoot up shopping markets. Leave those people alone. This is just, they're not, at least A, they're Americans, and B, they're just finding new ways to be super free.
That annoyed Condoleezza Rice and a number of people in the White House, including the president.
Your breath contributed as well. I'm just saying, there were a bunch of people who said that same shit. You do realize.
Who I think I also upset because I said this country should not be outsourcing jobs. We shouldn't be offshoring production. That was...
You do realize the government does not control manufacturing.
And also I said to President Bush, the fact of the matter is, I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad that Gene the Jesus Machine asked this of Lou. What do you think are the big issues for the next election cycle, Mr. Newsman, Mr. Inside Scoop? What do you think the next things will be in 2024? What do you think they'll be? And he was like, man, I remember back during the Bush administration, I was quite the troublemaker.
Not an isolationist because I don't want you to outsource our manufacturing capacity and American middle-class jobs. I'm not a racist because I want to see border security and our immigration laws.
No, there's lots of other reasons you can be a racist. Those things alone. Actually the racism part would come in on kind of the why you want that border security. You know what I mean? Because obviously you don't mind a lot of people who sneaked across serving you fucking iced tea, chocolate cake, and an extra helping of fish delight down there when you're hanging out with Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Enforced. With President Obama, I said, point of fact, I don't understand why you...
Anything? Just say anything. We get it.
You don't just produce your birth certificate and end this argument.
Why is that?
By the way,
all right. I don't know how much more cutting edge news I can handle in this clip. Holy shit. Honest to God, I'm going to lose my voice if I keep talking like that. That's a new character I'm just fucking around with. We'll see if he comes back, or if he comes back with a new and sillier voice. Who can say, kids? I might even have to give him a big, high, silly voice just for safety's sake. Let's see. Is there another maybe alternative for, because there's so many, demonic evils out there. We'll see. Anyways, hi, chat room. Yeah. Thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll see. I don't know. He just seemed, that character just seemed to have a lot to say, more so than I thought he would.
I believed at the time, and I believe now,
that I deserve at least 2 typeface sizes bigger, honestly, because it looks a little pitiful right there. It just does. As a matter of fact, with a name like Dobbs, you're always fighting shrinkage to some degree. Also, isn't Dobbs the last name of the first murderer that Christopher Walken detects with his psychic powers in the Dead Zone?
he's an American citizen, and I have no proof one way or the other, but I never did understand why he just didn't produce it and end the discussion.
Because allowing racists to dictate how the first black president has to show his fucking papers is fucking gross. If you have a question about it, how about this? Man's already elected. Here's a good idea. We're going to put a bill in that says everybody, like, part of signing up, you have to show your birth certificate because that's in the Constitution. And so you got to show it when you sign up to run for president. Cool. Be a dickhead. Be gross. Nobody gives a shit.
And I think now, in the the fullness.
Yeah, in looking back, we all go, "You're a fucking empty scrotum."
Of time, he wanted to keep that going because it was a divisive issue, and that is exactly what he was about, dividing this.
What? He wanted to keep it going. Again, this is sort of the Russia-Ukraine situation. Russia could end the war tomorrow by getting the fuck out. How about this? You could have dropped it, you dick.
Country on so many ways. And he was a man
on so many ways.
I thought would be a healer, not a divider.
So,
yeah, I'm sure you were shocked that a portion of Fox's audience was not all in on the black president thing. Hi. Hold on one second. I've got to give my girlfriend a smooch. Oh, dear. I have 10 more weeks.
I know, it was close.
And I was about to suggest it for Cam. And, not now. He just, aw.
Bliss stays.
It's fine. I'm totally fine with this. It's all right. No, I think it's good. I think in and of itself, it's the whole video series we should be doing. Love you. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. Love you, but it's kind of funny. Yeah. What did he do to get fired again? It was honest to God. I initially my automatic recollection, and it may not be. Let's hold on. Let's have a trip down memory lane, shall we? Yeah. Here's my guess is because he was old and boring, and it was more ageism than anything else. But it may have been a jism. We'll find out, as opposed to ageism. Sorry. Why Fox News canceled Lou Dobbs? Because apparently he was lying when he made this hand gesture. Fox News' official reason for canceling Lou Dobbs' show, a post-election program adjustment, doesn't quite add up. Dobbs was the highest-rated host on Fox Business. He often doubled his lead-ins ratings. Although Fox is saying the timing of Dobbs' cancellation Friday appears to be no coincidence. It took place 24 hours after Dobbs and Fox were named in a $2.7 billion defamation lawsuit filed by Smartmatic. Okay, so he's the first one that got kicked off because of the Smartmatic lawsuit. Fox may see Dobbs as an acceptable sacrificial lamb, or as an excuse to get out of their contract because you cost us a bunch of fucking money, so we don't have to pay you. But yeah, that's my guess. I think they got around having to pay him like the rest of his contract out because they were able to fire him for cause. Boo, fuckity who.
Speaking of that,
Speaking of that, which we weren't talking about either. So far you've brought up that we should have said Islamic terrorism, radical Islam, should have been our target instead of war on terror because terror is too abstract. And the Obama birth certificate. It's just like a trip down memory lane with Lou Dobbs. It's like we're all on a hay wagon on our way to a cross burning. It's terrific.
so many political officials that are doing exactly the same thing, dividing America.
Yeah, these assholes are like us and them, and yeah, terrible. Like listless vessels, or how dare they?
And they seem to be enjoying that. What's the end game?
Well, it is fun. It is a good time. I'm just saying, it's a little bit of, I have a little spice.
Why, in your opinion, what's that all about?
I believe what it's about is that this is, people don't want to, Americans don't really want to deal with this reality.
Yeah, you know what that it is? That's what it is. It's not so much that there are politicians that want to divide us. It's just Americans are fucking lazy and they're fine with being divided. And they've just gotten used to it. I mean, we've just basically tribed off and said, fuck it, I guess. According to Lou Dobbs. What the hell?
The reality is that we have a group of people in this country who, in the combination of their ideology and their anti-Americanism, have formed a fifth column.
Yeah, and they're all gathered with you tonight listening to some, or well, not obviously listening to whoever's speaking, because you're speaking probably at an equal volume, relatively close to that, so that the people in the back of the auditorium are just going shh the whole time and realizing they can't because there's two broadcasts going on.
They have decided that they're going to destroy our public schools. They're going to destroy our children. They're going to...
they got their work cut out for them, I guess. These fuckers are resilient.
Drive out. Now, what is interesting, I believe this, that they have tried to shut down churches, people of faith of all religions.
And yet they just give up after? You mean they shut them down during COVID so that the vast majority of the people going to them wouldn't die? Which, I mean, if you were, honest to God, if you were really trying to get rid of churches, I think you would have encouraged the only place you're allowed to gather is churches. Right? That would have done it. The fucking COVID would have cascaded through those motherfuckers, cut the population of churchgoers in half. Great idea, Lou. Yeah, it's good, solid.
The result has been the inverse in that instance of what they sought to achieve.
Or they weren't actually seeking to achieve that. You're just fantasizing about it, and people are going back to normal after not going out for a while.
More people are moving to their faith and to their religions.
Not you, obviously. You stick to the facts or whatever. It's just belief shit.
To Christ. And
yeah.
And, you know, that's a...
Thanks for bringing up the name, though. Thanks for throwing that in. Christ. I forget his first name, but somebody...
That's I think what we call an unforeseen consequence.
No. An unforeseen consequence would be a negative from something that you thought was a positive. You are stating the exact opposite, that they were attempting to do a negative. An unforeseen upside?
And one of the, and of course, the happiest unseen consequences by...
yes, the unseen consequences. Ew.
As a result of this Marxist takeover of our society. But it's only one, and unfortunately, there aren't many. This is an existential crisis we face, and no one should doubt it for a moment.
So
I certainly don't. I think we've all learned a lot from Lou today. A little too much, actually. And there's so much, I mean, I guess we're all trying to grow. We're trying to look at the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be. And thankfully, we have people clear-eyed, bushy-tailed, like the young upstart Lou Dobbs, to come in and tell us when the opposite of what he thinks is going to happen happens, it's because the other side failed at trying to do it instead of he was wrong in the first place.